You've probably seen them both appear in your YouTube feed at some point, Scotty Kilmer and ChrisFix. On the surface, they couldn't be more different. One looks like he just rolled out of a garage covered in motor oil, yelling into a camera. The other, a calm, faceless figure in blue gloves, carefully guiding you through repairs with step-by-step precision. Recently, I watched over 100 hours of their content, and after studying both these guys, who would I trust with my car? Well, buckle up, because you might be surprised. Who are they really? Before we get into the details of which of these guys you should trust with your car, we need to do a little background on both of them. Let's start with Scotty Kilmer. Scotty's been wrenching on cars for more than 50 years, and you can feel that experience in every video. He's that old school neighborhood mechanic who's seen it all, from carburetors to hybrids, and he's not afraid to tell you when something's junk. But what makes Scotty stand out on YouTube isn't just his knowledge, it's the delivery. He films most of his videos in his driveway, standing in front of cars with his sunglasses on, waving his arms around like he's trying to flag down traffic. He uploads almost daily, sometimes multiple times a day, and his titles are legendary clickbait. The worst car you should never buy. Mechanics hate this trick. You know exactly what you're going to get. 10 minutes of rapid-fire advice mixed with rants, bold opinions, and a little bit of chaos. If Scotty's your loud uncle ranting at Thanksgiving dinner, ChrisFix is the quiet cousin who actually fixes the turkey. His videos feel like carefully edited mini-movies. You never see his face, only his gloved hands and perfectly lit shots of the repair process. Unlike Scotty, ChrisFix doesn't upload daily. In fact, he might take weeks to put a single video together. But when it drops, it's polished, packed with information, and detailed enough that you could follow along step by step without fear of messing things up. He's built his reputation on trust. If ChrisFix says you can replace a water pump yourself, you probably can. So at their core, these two creators couldn't be more different. Scotty is the voice of raw experience, hammering home big picture warnings and patterns he's seen for decades. ChrisFix is the methodical guide, giving you the tools and confidence to actually tackle the work yourself. And that's why so many people watch both. One tells you what to avoid, the other shows you what to do when you're ready to roll up your sleeves. Their core philosophies. If you strip away the yelling, the clickbait titles, and the polished edits, what you're left with is two guys who see cars through completely different lenses. For Scotty Kilmer, cars are simpler than people make them out to be. In his world, every extra layer of tech is just another failure point waiting to happen. He's been saying for years that modern cars are rolling computers designed more for dealers and manufacturers to profit than for owners to enjoy. To Scotty, the golden era of cars is behind us. The days when you could pop the hood, fix a problem with a few wrenches, and get another 100,000 miles out of your ride. His philosophy is rooted in skepticism. Don't trust dealerships. Don't trust unnecessary tech. Don't trust a shiny new BMW just because it looks good in the showroom. His advice is like a protective shield. Keep it simple, keep it practical, and don't get fooled by marketing or over-engineering. ChrisFix, on the other hand, looks at cars and sees possibilities, where Scotty sees overcomplication. Chris sees a learning opportunity. His entire philosophy is built on empowerment. You can do this. You don't need a degree in mechanical engineering to change brake pads, fix a water pump, or install a new exhaust. All you need is the right guidance, a few tools, and the patience to follow through. Unlike Scotty, who thrives on urgency and warnings, ChrisFix thrives on patience and safety. Every step matters. Every torque spec matters. He'll show you the exact angle to use a wrench, not because it looks good on camera, but because he wants you to succeed without cutting corners. And here's the thing, both philosophies have their place. Scotty is the streetwise veteran who's seen cars break down in every possible way, and he doesn't want you to fall into the traps he's seen countless times. ChrisFix is the calm teacher who believes the average person with the right guidance can take control of their own car and avoid unnecessary trips to the mechanic. One warns you about pitfalls, the other walks you carefully across the bridge. What they get right. Now let's give credit where it's due, because despite their differences, both Scotty and ChrisFix are undeniably good at what they do. Scotty's strength lies in his instincts. You can tell he's been around cars long enough to know when something smells fishy. He doesn't need a diagnostic machine to know when a transmission is junk, or when a certain brand is more trouble than it's worth. He's the kind of guy who can listen to an engine for 30 seconds and immediately tell you, yep, that's going to cost you thousands down the road. His ability to spot red flags makes him incredibly valuable if you're buying a used car, or just trying to avoid being ripped off by a shop. Even if his delivery feels like he's scolding you, his core message is usually right. Stay alert, don't trust blindly, and don't let anyone take advantage of your lack of knowledge. ChrisFix, by contrast, shines in his execution. He's the guy you want on your screen when you're standing in the driveway with a tool in hand, second-guessing yourself. He doesn't just say replace the alternator, he shows you where every bolt is, how to safely disconnect the battery, and why you should tighten one part before the other. His videos aren't just about fixing cars, they're about giving you confidence. And for beginners, especially, that confidence is priceless. When ChrisFix tells you you've got this and then walks you through step by step, you actually believe it. And more importantly, you don't feel like you're going to break something along the way. Another big thing ChrisFix gets right is safety. It might not sound flashy, but in the DIY world, it's huge. He always emphasizes jack stands, gloves, goggles, proper torque, the little things that could be the difference between a smooth repair and a trip to the ER. Scotty might wave a wrench around and dive right into a repair, but ChrisFix wants you to pause, double check, and do it right the first time. So really, their strengths fill in each other's gaps. Scotty's great at zooming out, giving you the big picture, the warnings, the pitfalls to avoid. ChrisFix is great at zooming in, guiding you bolt by bolt, making sure you actually succeed in fixing your car. One keeps you cautious, the other keeps you capable. And when you combine those two, you get a pretty well-rounded education in car ownership, where they totally clash. Here's where things get fun, because Scotty Kilmer and ChrisFix don't just have different styles. They live in completely different universes when it comes to how they deliver advice. Scotty's world is fast, loud, and borderline chaotic. His videos feel like he hit record, shouted everything he could think of, and then uploaded it 5 minutes later. He's ranting in his driveway, waving his arms, pacing around the car like a coach yelling at his team. There's a certain rawness to it that makes you feel like you're hanging out with a mechanic who doesn't have time for filters or polish. But that energy comes with repetition. A lot of repetition. If you've watched Scotty for long enough, you know the rhythm. This is the worst engine ever made. Here's the one car you should never buy. Dealers hate when I show you this trick. It's dramatic, it's clickbaity, but it works, and for many viewers, that blunt delivery makes the advice stick. ChrisFix, on the other hand, is the complete opposite. His videos feel like a carefully prepared classroom lesson. Every cut, every camera angle, every sound effect is thought out. He'll take 15 minutes to show you how to remove a single bolt, not because he's dragging it out, but because he wants you to understand exactly why that bolt matters. His approach is slow, methodical, and almost soothing, especially compared to Scotty's whirlwind style. While Scotty is yelling about how CVTs are garbage, ChrisFix is calmly showing you how to change transmission fluid without spilling a drop. And then there's the tech divide. Scotty doesn't trust modern technology. He'll tell you that cars have become overcomplicated nightmares designed to fail. ChrisFix? He embraces it. He pulls out OBD2 scanners, borescopes, and torque wrenches and uses them like a pro. Where Scotty rolls his eyes at fancy gadgets, ChrisFix makes them approachable, showing you how they can actually make your life easier. So yeah, the clash isn't just in style, it's in philosophy. Scotty thrives on gut instincts and big picture warnings. ChrisFix thrives on precision and tools. Watching them back to back is like watching a street preacher and a surgeon talk about the same problem. Both are trying to help you, but their methods couldn't be more different. Listen to each. Here's the part that really matters, knowing when each of these guys is the right choice to tune into. Scotty is your guy when you're in the early stages of car ownership decisions. Thinking about buying a used car? Watch Scotty. He'll hammer into your head what red flags to look for, what brands tend to fall apart, and what engines are money pits. He's like that overprotective friend who's always reminding you not to trust strangers. Except in this case, the strangers are dealerships, extended warranties, and overhyped modern tech. He's not going to teach you how to replace a timing belt, but he will warn you not to buy a car that's going to need one every 60,000 miles. His advice is big picture, broad strokes, the stuff you need before you even pick up a wrench. ChrisFix, on the other hand, is the guy you want when the car is already sitting in your driveway and you're ready to roll up your sleeves. Let's say you just bought a car and it needs new brakes. This is where ChrisFix shines. He'll walk you through the job step by step, from taking the wheel off to torquing the caliper bolts back on. He's patient, he's reassuring, and by the end of it, you'll not only have working brakes, but also the confidence to tackle the next repair. He's especially great if you're new to DIY, because he doesn't assume you know anything. He starts from the ground up, making sure you understand why you're doing each step, not just how. And honestly, it's not about choosing one over the other. If you're smart, you'll use both. Let Scotty scare you straight with his warnings so you don't make dumb buying decisions. Then, once you've got a car you trust, let ChrisFix hold your hand through the repairs so you don't feel lost. Together, they cover the full spectrum of car ownership. Scotty's the guard dog, ChrisFix is the guide. One protects you, the other empowers you. After all this, it's clear that Scotty Kilmer and ChrisFix aren't competitors so much as they are opposites that complete the same puzzle. They're like two tools from the same toolbox, wildly different, but both essential depending on the job. Scotty is your alarm bell. He's loud, unfiltered, and sometimes repetitive, but that's because he wants you to hear him. He spent half a century watching people get burned by bad cars, shady dealerships, and overhyped technology. And he's not about to let you fall into the same traps. His job isn't to teach you how to turn a wrench. It's to make sure you don't end up crying into your steering wheel because you bought the wrong car in the first place. If he sounds dramatic, that's because he's seen how expensive mistakes can get. ChrisFix, meanwhile, is your instruction manual. He's calm, thorough, and endlessly patient. His job is to make you feel like you can actually do this, that you can pop the hood, follow the steps, and fix something without feeling overwhelmed. He doesn't just hand you the answers, he gives you the confidence to solve problems yourself. Where Scotty yells, ChrisFix reassures. Where Scotty warns, ChrisFix teaches. Put them together and you've got something powerful. Scotty will tell you what to avoid and how to think like a cautious car owner. ChrisFix will show you what to do once you've got the right car in your driveway. One protects your wallet, the other empowers your hands. And honestly, that combination might be the best car advice YouTube has to offer. So now it's your turn. Which camp do you fall into? Are you more of a Scotty person, the kind who likes big warnings, blunt opinions, and a little bit of chaos with your car advice? Or are you more of a ChrisFix type, calm, steady, and ready to get your hands dirty with step-by-step guidance? Drop your answer in the comments because I'm genuinely curious where you all land on this. And hey, if you want more car content that actually cuts through the noise without screaming, "This is the worst engine ever made" every 2 minutes, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more breakdowns, guides, and deep dives coming your way. At the end of the day, whether you're Team Scotty, Team ChrisFix, or somewhere in the middle, the truth is simple. As long as you're learning and taking care of your car, you're already ahead of the game.